very strongly that no level of sabotage against his administration can make him abandon the mandate freely given to him by Rivers people to serve, protect, and advance the fortunes of the state. Governor Fubara made the assertion when he declared open the 115 and 116 combined quarterly general meeting of Rivers State Council of Traditional Rulers in Port Harcourt. This was the first quarterly meeting of the Rivers State Council of Traditional Rulers that Siminala Fubara was attending since he became governor of the state. Governor Fubara reaffirmed his commitment to serving the state with humility, sincerity of purpose, and accountability. He assured that he will not fail in discharging his responsibilities and will never surrender to the electoral mandate and progress of the state because of intimidation, blackmail, or deliberate act of sabotage against his administration. Governor Fubara also stated that drastic measures will be taken by his administration to strengthen the provision of quality education, affordable healthcare, and social services across the state, including the rural areas. He assured of sufficient budgetary provision in the 2024 budget that will fund the human capital development efforts, including unlocking the entrepreneurial spirit among teeming unemployed Rivers youth through viable initiatives on skills development, entrepreneurship training, and targeted investments in commercial agriculture. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is disturbed by the exodus of skilled youths from Nigeria in search of greener pastures abroad. The president is also concerned that many of these migrants are educationally equipped youths whom national resources have been expended. He restated his administration's commitment to reverse the trend with the creation of job opportunities for the teeming youths. The president spoke through Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation Minister Dr. Betta Edu on the annual National Dialogue on Migration organized by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons to mark this year's International Migrants Day in Abuja. Tinubu said statistics on the global migrant population is not cheering, as current estimates indicate over 1 billion persons are classified as migrants by the International Office for Migration. Arewa Consultative Forum ACF has rejected the forum response of the Defense Headquarters on the bombing of civilians. It called for the redeployment of the General Officer commanding 1 Division of the Nigerian Army, Kaduna, to allow for unfettered investigations. ACF, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Professor T.A. Mohammed Baba, said the 10 billion naira donation announced by the Chief of Army Staff was grossly inadequate. It said it was the federal government, not the Nigerian Army, which should take responsibility for full compensation for deaths and injuries to victims arising from the incident. ACF urged the Chief of Army Staff, as a sign of good faith, to follow up with additional steps to ameliorate the pains and sufferings of the community. ACF draws particular attention to 4 specific issues in the Defense Headquarters reaction as follows: that the military could deploy an unmanned aerial vehicle without proper ground assessment was a strategic error because it resulted in deaths and injuries to mostly children who were not even as little as carrying sticks and stones. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has expressed its commitment to work with global partners in the march towards reducing methane emissions in oil and gas operations. On the sidelines of the ongoing United Nations Climate Change Conference, also known as COP28, taking place in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, the Oil and Gas Decarbonization Charter was released. The charter calls on the oil and gas sector to achieve the goal of reaching net zero emissions for their own operations by 2050. It also includes commitments to achieve near zero methane emissions and no routine flaring by 2030. Speaking on the development during a panel session titled "Accelerating the Elimination of Methane Emissions and the Decarbonization of Oil and Gas," NNPCL Executive Vice President Upstream, Orisayemiwa Eyeson, said the charter was a major opportunity not just for the NNPC Limited, but for the African sub-region. Botswana and Zimbabwe are working on bilateral visa-free deal to scrap visa requirements for each other's citizens. Zimbabwean President Emerson said he had agreed with Botswana's President Masisi to open up their borders for passport-free travel by their citizens. They join the growing number of African nations easing entry restrictions for visitors from the continent, and the terms of the agreement will be ironed out by officials from both countries. According to reports, many other African countries have recently introduced bilateral visa-free movement arrangements. Botswana and Namibia, South Africa and Ghana and Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo are some of the African countries that have introduced reciprocal visa waiver agreements this year. That's the news in brief. More news stories comes to you on our news at 3 p.m. I am Catherine Ago. Good afternoon.